This is Wasteland Fatigue Weekly, brought to you by Fatigue Force.
All right, so welcome to the deep dive. This week, forget all the other noise and chatter. We went through all of it for you.
All those forums and posts,
Yeah, we went through it all just to find the good stuff for you.
so you don't have to.
So you don't have, all right. So think of this like your weekly update.
Yeah, a quick hit of all the funny and useful.
Like the funniest fails,
Yeah,
the smartest plays, and maybe some of the most head-scratching moments in Day R.
right. We are bringing you the stuff straight from the players.
Straight from the wasteland.
Bringing you the jokes, the tears,
Yeah.
the anger.
Straight from their keyboards.
That's right.
So our mission here.
To give you a little taste of what's got the DayR player base buzzing.
Yeah, what are they talking about? What's making them laugh?
What gear is breaking down? What food is better than they thought it would be?
What crazy new strategies are people trying out there?
It's all here.
It's all here.
Unfiltered.
All right, well, let's just dive in. Seems like everyone's having a problem keeping their weapons in one piece.
Yeah, Diamond Sheep was saying that their spears and bludgeons are costing more to repair. Plus, they're breaking down faster than they used to.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught out there in the wasteland with a broken bludgeon.
It's not a good look.
It's not, no.
So if you're the type of player that likes to get up close and personal with your enemies,
Yeah.
you might want to rethink that strategy.
Yeah, it's got Oops Boom and a Chakado 4232 talking about what armor is best.
Makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah. Oops Boom said that they rotate between their polar armor, their Santa armor, and their tank armor.
Now, what's so special about tank armor?
Well, Oops Boom said that you get it by disassembling the OG tank vehicle.
Really?
Yeah, and if you don't remember, that was from a previous EMBA event.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So not something you're going to come across every day.
Not likely, no.
And then Chakada 4232 was wondering about tactical armor.
You know, if that would be a better option, but they weren't really sure how to get it.
Right. It sounds like even the pros are still figuring some things out.
Right.
You know, with all these updates and new events, things change so fast.
It's tough to keep up.
It's tough to keep up, for sure.
And then Diamond Sheep chimes in.
Oh, boy.
And they tell Oops Boom straight up, get better weapons then.
Okay.
And goes on to mention some of the Halloween and Christmas event exclusives.
All right, so a little tough love there from Dynamo Sheep.
A little bit, yeah.
But Oops Boom actually has those Christmas weapons.
Really?
And was a little confused about what Dynamo Sheep meant by the Santa wand.
What is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember a Santa wand.
You know?
Oh,
I'm not sure what that could be.
some kind of festive bludgeon, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
But they did say they really like the snowman thing,
Snowman thing.
which sounds a little less intimidating.
A little bit.
All right, well, let's move on from busted gear to something a little more satisfying.
Let's talk about food.
Food, yeah. Oops, boom. Wanted to know what's the best non-perishable food out there?
Costs no object.
Cost no object, yeah.
Death.
The best.
Just the best straight up survival food.
Okay, well, RJ Mechanics jumped in and said sausage all the way.
Sausage, all right. A classic.
You can't really go wrong with sausage, can you?
No, but Oops Boom thinks that the expeditionary ration might be a little better.
I don't know. Sausage is pretty good,
It is good.
but the rations are pretty hard to come by, aren't they?
They are, yeah. RJ Mechanics actually mentioned that the ration is pretty hard to get.
That's right.
So, you've got to consider that.
That's true. Practicality versus pure, survival efficiency.
Exactly.
Then Dynamo Sheep chimed in with a couple of interesting facts about the expeditionary ration.
Really?
Yeah, apparently the packaging looks a lot like those real-world Russian MREs.
Interesting.
Yeah, those military rations.
Yeah.
And then they went on to say that Peking duck actually has the exact same stats as the ration.
No way!
Yeah, so it's basically a gourmet version of the ration.
Wow.
But here's the kicker.
What's up? They said that all of those foods basically just copied their stats from pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah, and pizza apparently has a better in-game effect.
Wow, so pizza is the ultimate survival food.
Looks like it.
Who knew?
Who knew?
All right, well, let's move on to things that can give you a little boost.
Like potions.
Potions, exactly. Ikata 4232 was trying to figure out where to get that blue potion.
Oh, the blue potion, yeah.
Sounds pretty mysterious, right?
Yeah, sounds powerful.
Yeah, Touch Me at 4169 said that it's actually from the Halloween event.
Oh, that's right.
So if you missed out on that one, you're out of luck.
Yeah, tough break.
Yeah, and they also mentioned some workbench skins.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you want to give your crafting station a makeover.
Make it a little more stylish.
Exactly.
Why not?
But anyway, a Cheka 4232 thinks this blue potion is super powerful.
Yeah.
Even wondered if it would be worth pairing it with a ceramic vest.
Oh, wow. That's some serious protection.
Yeah.
And Touch Me Sore 169 agreed that it's pretty strong stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even said that if you're using polar bear armor,
Yeah.
the blue potion would be useful all the time.
Wow.
So definitely sounds like something worth getting your hands on.
For sure.
But Ochcot4232's final thought on it was too powerful. What do you think it does?
Makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, maybe it makes you invisible or gives you super strength or something.
Or maybe it just tastes really, really good.
I think it's just delicious.
All right, well, you ever lose something valuable in the wasteland?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And you just get that sinking feeling in your stomach? Like, oh, no.
I'm never going to see that again.
I'm never going to see that again. Yeah, well, Ochkata4232 was asking about how to get lost items back.
They were mentioning taking screenshots to prove that you had the items.
Ah, that's a good tip. Always take screenshots of your important stuff.
Yeah, you never know when you might need it.
Exactly. All right, well, let's talk about making some rubles.
Let's get rich.
Let's get rich. Yeah. Touch Me 469 wishes there was a way to preserve fat without it going bad based on time. They feel like meat stew is the only good way to make money.
Well, Ochcata4232 chimed in and said cement is another good option.
Cement.
Yeah, always in demand.
Yeah, for sure. Then Preisold made a very bold statement.
What was that?
They said fat doesn't go bad.
Well, Heritage Mechanics had to correct them on that one.
Yeah.
Raw fat back definitely goes bad.
Right.
So, don't go stockpiling that thinking it'll last forever.
Yeah, don't hoard the fat back.
Nope.
All right, well, ThemeHow offered up a couple of money-making tips.
What were those?
Salted meat and fish.
Okay.
And they said that spoiled meat is actually better for bait than spoiled fatback.
That's good to know. Less waste.
Less waste, exactly. All right, so Morningstar 7 had a question about cement.
What was that?
They wanted to know if it's still worth the same as it was 4 months ago.
Good question.
Yeah, have you guys been hoarding cement? Let us know down in the comments.
Let us know.
Well, Dynamo confirmed that the MPC selling price is still the same.
Okay, so no change there.
No change there.
Good for the builders.
Yeah, good for the builders. And ThemeHow added that even though you can't bulk trade cement anymore,
Yeah.
it's probably still valuable to other players because a lot of people have been stockpiling it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so let's say you've got your cement empire going.
You're rolling in rubles.
You're rolling in rubles. You've got all the salted fish you could ever want.
What's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
Well, Morningstar 7 is actually feeling a little bored at the endgame.
Oh, no, the dreaded endgame boredom.
Yeah.
It happens.
They said it's so boring.
Well, Dynamo suggested setting some difficult goals.
Okay.
Like, trying to survive with only certain types of gear or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe trying to explore a really dangerous area.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and then just playing like you're retired until some new events pop up.
Okay, so taking it easy until the action heats up again.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, Mochi Reaper had a more drastic solution.
What's that?
Burning all your resources.
Wow, talk about a fresh start.
Talk about a fresh start.
Yeah.
4J Mechanics kept it simple, though.
What do they say?
Make money. Get rich.
Can't argue with that.
Can't argue with that.
Especially in the apocalypse.
Exactly.
But then Calmec1 chimed in with a totally different perspective.
What's that?
They actually prefer the early game struggles.
Really?
Yeah, they like when ammo and food are scarce, and they even avoid getting easy handouts.
Oh, wow. So they really like the challenge.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I can understand that, those early days of the game are pretty intense.
They are. Yeah, you really feel like you're fighting to survive.
For sure.
Every decision matters.
Every decision matters.
Okay, so have you ever wanted to trade your ride?
Yeah.
Maximus Prime 2. I was wondering if you could trade cars.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, sounds like it would be a pretty valuable commodity.
It would.
But unfortunately, it looks like cars are for keeps.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can't trade them.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this got everyone talking about Railsol's motorcycle project. And they were pretty excited to find out that the Mule perk actually works with motorcycles.
The Mule perk.
Yeah, the one that lets you carry more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Dynamo pointed that out.
So that's good news for anyone who likes to ride their bikes.
Yeah, for sure.
Too bad it doesn't apply to cars and trucks.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. All right, well, amidst all this talk of survival and gear and codes, Maximus Prime 22 randomly said pancakes.
Pancakes.
Pancakes, and then went on to say how much they love cheese-filled pancakes.
Oh, man, now I'm craving pancakes.
Me too.
You've got to appreciate those little moments of pure food cravings.
Yeah.
Even in the apocalypse.
Even in the apocalypse.
So what's your go-to comfort food in DAR?
Let us know down in the comments.
We want to hear all about it.
All right, so Aerology made a huge jump in levels.
Oh, yeah.
They went from level 35 all the way to 64.
Wow. That's a serious grind.
Yeah.
They must have been playing a lot.
Yeah, and they noticed that we mention players a lot in these Wasteland Fatigue Weekly reports.
Oh, we love hearing what you guys are up to.
Yeah, keep us updated on your progress.
Tell us your stories.
Tell us your stories.
Okay, so the EMBA event.
The EMBA event.
Clearly a hot topic.
Yeah.
Euro 8, Euro 8, 9, Euro 08, and Slobodan 86 were chatting about starting over.
Oh.
And Slobodan 86 actually said they enjoyed the early game struggles.
You know, we've heard that from a few people now.
We have, yeah.
Seems like a lot of players miss those early days of the game.
I get it. You know, it's a real challenge.
Yeah.
You're constantly on edge.
Yeah, you've got to be resourceful.
You've got to think on your feet.
Yeah, exactly.
And Comic One and Your Mechanics were both saying that there's just something really appealing about starting fresh.
For sure.
It's like a clean slate.
Yeah.
You can try out a new build,
Uh-huh.
explore a different part of the map.
Exactly.
For those of you who are just starting out, Comic One had some questions about finding early game weapons.
Like the musket?
The musket.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Dynamo Sheep and Mochi Reapers set the record straight.
Oh,
They said you're most likely to find a Boredom rifle
okay.
in those weapon boxes and hunting stores when you're at a lower level.
Makes sense.
Yeah, probably around level 50.
Yeah.
Or once you can access the settlement blueprint.
Okay.
So no muskets for you newbies.
Sorry, newbies.
You got to make do with the Boredom rifle for now.
Yeah.
Comic One, but also pointed out a pretty tough obstacle for new players.
What's that?
Those high radiation levels in the early cities.
Yeah,
Like 6 rads per hour in some buildings.
that's right.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
You've got to be careful.
So any advice out there for QB9 who is asking about how to level up and make money solo in Vernek on hardcore one life mode?
A hardcore one life mode.
Yeah, they're really going for it.
Wow. Any tips? Guys, let them know down in the comments.
Yeah, help them out.
Yeah, Pryzold had a pretty solid strategy.
What was that?
They said to loot all the towns near settlements,
Okay.
specifically Kiev and the surrounding areas,
Yeah.
and then just sell everything you find for rubles.
Not a bad plan.
Yeah.
Simple but effective.
Simple but effective. All right, well, everyone's waiting for news on the EMBA event and those super rare items.
Yeah, Sugard was looking for any updates on that.
Uh-huh.
They were expecting something to drop after the 6th,
Yeah.
but Jarjay Mechanics had some wise words for them.
What's that?
Waiting is all we can do.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta be patient.
Yeah.
Climate Ribs had a very day-our dilemma.
What was that?
Bike or bike with a cart?
You know you got to make those tough choices. Every inventory slot counts.
Yeah, it does.
Especially in early game.
Especially in the early game. So what do you guys prefer?
Yeah, what's your go-to mode of transportation?
Let us know.
Okay, well, the EMBA event did bring some new goodies.
Like what?
Well, Dynamo Sheep and Mochi Reaper were talking about the new EMBA launcher.
Uh-huh.
And Dynamo Sheep called it a gimmick, but they did say that it does area damage. So, you know, it could be useful for clearing out those big groups of infected. Yeah,
for sure.
RJ Mechanics said it has 20-fold damage,
Oh, wow.
but only under certain conditions.
Oh, okay.
And they also pointed out that the event save can hold up to 300 discs.
300 discs.
Wow. Yeah, so if you're going all in on the EMBA event,
Yeah.
you're going to need a bigger save.
For sure.
Okay, so have you ever wanted to share a screenshot?
You know of your latest rare find?
Or maybe a hilarious bug you came across?
A hilarious bug, yeah.
Yeah, well, why not? 09 wanted to know if they needed a higher server level to post pictures.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, Diamond Sheep explained that you actually need a level 2 role.
A level 2 roll.
Yeah.
To post pictures.
Yeah, and that requires a chat level of 7.
Okay, so you've got to earn those picture posting privileges.
You do.
All right, well, active charcoal.
Yeah,
That's the good stuff for dealing with radiation.
it is.
WK91P was looking for a city that sells it.
You know any good spots?
Well, Diamond Sheep said that it's not actually sold by NPCs.
Really?
Yeah, not in any dream city, at least.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
So you're going to have to find it by looting medical buildings.
Looks like it.
Yeah, WK91P said that they were stuck just farming wood for income.
Yeah, and they were also wondering about a new update.
Well, WK94 suggested checking with the Chile NPC, Sleek,
Okay.
if you're playing online.
Online.
They might have some charcoal to trade.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're looking for active charcoal scavenging or trading with other players.
That's probably your best bet.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, Diamond Sheep had a pretty lucky run.
Wow.
They managed to get 1,000 mycelium from those faction labs.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were really impressed with the jack-o'-launcher.
The jack-o'-launcher. Yeah, that's a good one.
Especially against mushrooms.
Especially against mushrooms.
Yeah, they said it's got good damage, knockback, and range.
It does. It's a mushroom stomping machine.
Ew.
Mochi Reaper agreed with them.
Yeah.
Highlighting the damage and knockback.
Yeah.
And Dynamo Sheep even compared the range to a rifle.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is.
But Mochi Reaper also had a bad feeling.
Oh, no. What's that?
They're worried about a nerf.
A nerf.
Yeah, they think the jack-o'-launcher might be too good.
You know what happens?
Yeah.
You find a weapon you really like.
Yeah.
Then the developers come along and nerf it.
It's the circle of life.
It is.
Dynamo Sheep's advice.
Just enjoy while we can.
Yeah, wise words.
Wise words.
All right, well, Railsol was a little confused, though.
What about?
Well, they couldn't find any Dynamo flashlights after Teaver.
Oh, no.
Yeah, all they could find was some expensive alternative.
Those Dynamo flashlights are usually pretty easy to come by.
They are.
Especially in the early to mid-game.
Yeah, so this is kind of strange.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Mochi Reaper told them to check a specific channel.
Okay.
Probably one that has info on trader inventories.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but Railsol wasn't too happy about having to trade parts of their expensive flashlight just to get a cheap searchlight.
Sounds like a bad deal.
It does.
But Mochi Reaper did offer a couple of cheaper alternatives.
Like what?
Like a good old-fashioned tin can candle.
Okay.
And they also mentioned the Searcher's flashlight from the Settlement Requirements quests.
Uh-huh.
Plus, you can craft chicken torches later on in the game.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So there are definitely options out there.
There are.
So it seems like the Dynamo flashlight might be losing its popularity.
Could be. What do you guys think?
What's your go-to light source?
Let us know.
Okay, well, speaking of flashlights, RealSolve had a pretty smart question.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Can you recharge Dynamo flashlights when they hit 0% durability?
I'm not sure I've ever let mine get that low.
Well, good news for the frugal survivors out there.
Okay.
You can. Mochi Reaper confirmed it, and they even gave a breakdown of the battery requirements for different durability percentages.
Okay.
So if your flashlight is at 30%, you'll need this many batteries.
Uh-huh.
40% this many.
Okay.
45% this many.
Okay.
50% this many.
All right.
55% this many.
Okay.
60% this many.
Uh-huh.
70% this many.
Okay.
80% this many.
All right.
And 100% this many.
Okay, so they've got it all figured out.
They do.
No 90% flashlight, though.
That's straight.
Yeah, where's the 90% flashlight?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right, well, anyone jumped into the new EMBA event yet?
Yeah. Ufeet 99008 was asking around about that.
Yeah, update rollouts can be a little weird.
They can, yeah.
Some people get it right away.
And there's some people have to wait.
Exactly.
RJ Mechanics stumbled across a new high-level spot.
Oh, really? Where?
In the Eastern Mountains.
The Eastern Mountains.
Yeah, and they said there's a boss there.
A boss.
But the loot wasn't that great.
Oh, what was it?
Just steel and titanium.
Not
exactly what you'd expect from a boss fight.
No.
Mochi Reaper is hoping that the second wave of the boss fight will drop better stuff.
Okay.
Like RPG rounds.
Oh, yeah.
Similar to the Triad outposts.
Okay, so maybe there's hope for some better loot.
Maybe.
RJ Mechanics also said that this new area seems to be aimed at higher level players.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
With tougher biomutants.
Uh-huh.
And they even said that the journey to get there was harder than the actual fights.
Oh, wow. So this is some serious endgame content.
Yeah.
All right, well, Asrod7845 joked about heading over there in their newly crafted chopper.
Oh, no.
Fully expecting to die.
Fully expecting to die.
Sounds risky.
Yeah, but that's the DAR spirit, right?
It is, yeah.
Take on the challenge even if you know you're going to lose.
Go down fighting.
Go down fighting.
Asrod7845 also said that they still find those infected buildings in the cities harder to clear than the old labs, which Dynamo Sheep was a little surprised by.
Yeah, I guess different players have different strengths and weaknesses.
They do.
All right, well, Pontus333 is still looking for that Polar Fox pet cache.
Still no luck.
Still no luck. They're starting to think it's just pure luck.
Maybe it's not tied to a specific season or area.
Could be.
Yeah.
All right, well, good news for anyone who likes to take their time with crafting.
What's that?
Boner Rattler was pretty happy to report that crafting times have been extended.
It is. Boner Rattler even said they'd set crafts for weeks if they had more slots.
Wow.
Theme agreed and said the only real limits now are electricity and fire.
Okay.
So if you've got a good setup, you can craft for days.
So this could be a really nice change for players who can't log in all the time.
Definitely.
If you've got a busy schedule, you can just set your crafts and come back to them later.
Exactly.
Okay, well, Boner Outlaw had another question.
What's that?
They want to know if titanium is tradable.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, titanium's a pretty valuable resource,
It is.
especially for those high-tier crafts.
Yeah, so if you could buy it, that would be
A game changer.
a game changer.
But unfortunately,
But unfortunately.
it looks like titanium is still a find-it-yourself kind of material.
Okay, so no shortcuts to those high-tier crafts.
Nope.
All right, well, Arthwer666 wanted to know if they could transfer their progress between iOS and Android.
Oh, yeah. That's a common question
It is.
for people who like to play on multiple devices.
Yeah, unfortunately, though,
Unfortunately,
no cross-platform transfers.
nope. iOS and Android like to keep things separate.
They do.
AB5 had another vehicle mishap.
Oh, no, not again.
Yeah, the ride went missing.
What happened this time?
Well, they blamed gasoline problems.
Gasoline problems.
Yes.
We've all been there.
We have, you park your car somewhere,
Yeah.
you get distracted, and then you can't remember where you left it.
It happens.
It happens.
All right, well, Unless Rob finally got a tip about those bike spare parts they were looking for.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Apparently you can find them while fishing.
Fishing?
Fishing, yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew? Then Themes Who said that low-level characters sometimes find them that way.
Well, there you go, Venus Roth. You've got your answer.
Go fishing.
Go fishing.
All right, Pontus333 had another sarcastic take on the EMBA grind.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
They said you could finish it in an hour if all you did was grab or food delivery.
Okay, so they're not really impressed with the difficulty.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Is the EMBA too easy this year?
Let us know.
Okay. Muzakir0346-24601 wanted to know about the Emerald Spoon.
The Emerald Spoon.
Yeah. What's it good for?
What is it even?
Yeah.
And Mr. Triggerfish is still looking for a map of the EMBA event location.
If anyone's got a map.
Yeah, hook us up.
Yeah.
All right, so the whole disc-based EMBA speculation is still going strong.
Yeah.
And we had another clarification about the skin boxes.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, those were a one-time thing
Right.
from the Christmas event.
Yeah, you got them from normal raids.
That's right.
And now you get skin shards from fighting in cities and hitting milestones.
That's right. So you've got to work for your cosmetic upgrades now.
Exactly.
No more freebies.
One player suggested that non-combat buildings should require herbicide.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it would add another layer to the whole resource management aspect of the game.
It would.
Yeah. Themeho also mentioned that the level 90 Grove something event was different.
Different.
Yeah.
From what?
Well, they didn't really elaborate.
Okay, so we're all left wondering.
Yeah, mysterious.
Mysterious.
Yeah. All right, so Dimer Sheep was not impressed with the challenge rewards.
Yeah, they called them pretty depressing.
What do you guys think?
Have the rewards been a little lackluster lately? And that's all the Wasteland Fatigue we've got for you this week, folks. Stay safe out there. Watch out for those bees after level 50. And remember, even in the apocalypse, there's always something new and slightly bizarre happening in the DayR community.
This has been Wasteland Fatigue Weekly from Fatigue Force.
We'll catch you in the wastes.